Oh yeah, it's the weekend, and you know what that means. It's time for Pixels and Bits on the Overshield.com with your hosts, Corey, Manny, and Tommy. And now, broadcasting from planet Earth, it's time for Pixels and Bits. Welcome to Pixels and Bits on the Overshield.com. My name is Corey. Hi, welcome to episode 92 of everybody's favorite weekly podcast on YouTube.com on the Overshield channel. My name is Corey. I'm your host as always, and I'm joined by my co-host Tommy. Say hi, Tommy.
Hello, Internet.
For those expecting or wondering where Manny is, well, Manny is training to learn how to swoon the Korean girls. Okay, real news. He's learning to be a teacher. I know that's less sexy, but hey, whatever. Anyways, we have some good old-fashioned news desk for you. We got a middle segment. We have, of course, your favorite segment, people doing stupid shit, and we'll round it off all with shout-outs. Tommy, you have anything we have to say before we jump in?
You finally didn't say Overshield.com.
Yes, because there is no more Overshield.com, because, let's face it, I was pouring a lot of money into that domain, and it was going nowhere.
None of us really knew how to build a website either.
Yeah, so that was a waste of money. So yes, the Overshield.com no longer exists.
Until we get really popular, then that we might have to.
And then we might have a problem.
Well, you can still use it, right?
What?
The Overshield? You didn't sell the domain name, right?
No, I did. Well, I didn't renew the domain.
I know, but we could relaunch it, right? Or no?
No, we could relaunch it.
Okay, so then it's a possibility that it could one day come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a possibility, but you, the fans, have to make us famous like PewDiePie.
Well, we also have to put more content.
And we also need a shit ton of money from Patreon, because that's what everybody does.
I know, right? I mean, I know eventually we'll probably do that once we get big, but I don't know what the rewards would be.
Alright, time to move into the news desk. Hit the music. Alright, so, first, a PSA for everybody who was wanting to buy a PlayStation VR system for their kid this holiday. Don't. Sony is saying that PlayStation VR should not be used by children under the age of 12, that it causes things like motion sickness, nausea, disorientation, blurred vision, and other forms of discomfort. This is because it is not this because the PlayStation VR was designed for adult eyes. In terms of basically how, because keep in mind that the PlayStation VR, all the new VR headsets, you have a single screen allotted to each eye. That's how it gives it the 3D effect. Those screens are designed with the spatial, basically with the spatial. I'm trying to think of a right word for this, but basically, children's eyes are not spaced enough to a point where it works for them, and so they're going to not get a perfect picture and instead get, of course, the blurred vision and all that crap. So, if your kid is 12 years old, get him a PlayStation VR. If he's under 12, tell him he is that grown-ups get all the fun shit, and sorry.
I'm glad they're saying that because, I mean, honestly, isn't that similar with Nintendo with the 3DS, how they suggest that kids under 7 should not be using the 3D feature?
Actually, I'm sorry. I actually found the actual description of why they shouldn't use it. Okay. It says, quote-unquote, adult averages fall usually between 66 millimeters, and this is basically the space between your eyes. However, there is quite a variation based on gender, race, and age, so making these values fluctuate between 48 and 73 millimeters. This means the further your eyes are from this average, the more distorted your view will be. Young children, on the other hand, have values that span between 40 and 55. For them, their perspective through the VR headset could be so erroneous that the perceived display will be very incorrect and cause short-term disorientation, discomfort, headaches, migraines, eye strain, and even nausea. Because of this, we usually discourage young children from using head-mounted displays unless they're using a properly calibrated device. So there you go. There's the scientific answer of why your kid can't use it. And if your kid doesn't understand that, just say, well, tough shit, Johnny.
Do you want to go blind? Because that's how you go blind.
Do you not want to have your eyes? Because that's how you lose your eyes.
I mean, isn't that
Archer joke, everybody?
I mean, okay, isn't like the VR? I mean, I feel like people using the VR will probably go blind a little, sooner because, how your parents.
You literally have a screen pressed right against your eyeball. Yes.
Exactly.
Which is why, of course, they recommend taking like 20-minute breaks like every hour or something like that.
Not many people are gonna do that.
No, there's gonna be people like Manny who's like playing his like Sword Art Online, aka Waifu Simulator. She's like all day.
That's why the future has to be more like the Matrix. Just have something plug into your brain.
Everybody gets USBs in the back of their head.
Yes. USB 4.0.
USB Neo.
That's a good one.
All right, so next up, for those curious of when the Doom is coming out in May, and I can't believe I'm saying that we're finally getting a new Doom. And of course, for those who saw earlier, the multiplayer trailer finally dropped for Doom, finally announcing when the actual multiplayer beta starts. Here's the problem. It is closed. It is a closed beta, and it runs from March 31st to the 3rd. So you're wondering, oh, how do I get into the beta? Well, you had to have pre-ordered Wolfenstein: The New Order 2 years ago, and then redeem that beta code. So if you didn't pre-order Wolfenstein: The New Order 2 years ago and still kept around that game and the little slip inside of the pre-order code, you're fucked. Not necessarily, though, because GameStop is going to be handing out a limited supply of codes on April 1st.
Well, I'm sure that's a joke.
It is probably a joke, but maybe for those wanting to hold out hope and get into the beta, there you go. Starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on April 1st, you go to any GameStop store, ask for a code, and you'll get one. There will be a limited supply, and it'll be handed out on first come, first serve. Once they're out, tough shit. So, if you wanted to get in the Doom beta, and you wanted to play it before its release on May 13th, there you go. Oh, also, Overwatch has a release date now.
Exciting.
I'm actually... This looks way better than Battleborn. Fuck that shit.
And gigantic, which is, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I like Blizzard games, and anybody who's like, is like, well, Blizzard fucked over Diablo 3, and I'm like, but did you really play Diablo 3?
A lot of people I knew would disagree, too. It's like, they actually enjoyed it, and they never, touched Diablo, I guess, but they liked it. They liked that third one.
I really like Diablo 3. I mean, I own it for my PlayStation.
I have it for my Xbox One. Haven't touched it yet.
Tommy, I am very disappointed. But yes, Blizzard's Overwatch is, of course, coming out. It is... This is interesting. There is going to be a beta for the game, and it's going to run from May 5th through the 9th on Xbox One, PS4, and PC. But if you pre-order the game before April 29th, you can start playing 2 days earlier, and you can invite a friend, too.
Too bad you don't have an Xbox. I would invite you.
Too bad you don't have a PS4. Anyways,
No.
Overwatch, the full-price version, which launches at $60, comes on all three platforms on May 24th. So, yay. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, now first up, let's talk about patches. Yay?
Well, I guess yay, but honestly,
yeah.
they shouldn't. They should.
Okay, I know. Patches aren't the most invigorating of topics to talk about, but this is a very interesting one because the consoles are finally getting in the PC exclusive patch of Fallout 4, which was the 1.4 patch. And if you're wondering, what does 1.4 bring in? Well, let me say this. It brings in support for add-ons. You can now add mods to your console version of Fallout 4.
But not yet, right? I mean, they're still... It's setting up, right?
Not quite yet. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. The patch is out now.
Oh, awesome.
So there you go. That if you needed a excuse to get in. Oh, hold on a second.
Well, I always want my Deathclaw to be Thomas the Train, so I'm looking forward to that mod.
I think my headset was dying. Oh no, like I heard like that beep you hear from like Fallout 4. It's like low on power. I'm just wishing that my headset had said that.
Oh, I see.
I don't know, but yes, you're finally going to get support for add-ons, and there's also going to be additional art customization to the workshop and stuff like that. Some general stability and performance enhancements, and just basically fixing general issues. But the fact that we're finally getting add-on support is huge.
I'm looking forward to the pew mod. Like every time someone fires a gun, it just go pew pew pew.
I want the One Punch Man mod. Just run around just playing that theme music and just punching everything.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, Corey.
And hey, I finally get to play One Punch Man the game, even if we're never going to get a legitimate One Punch Man game, because it'd be impossible.
That'd be so
it's like,
boring.
hey, let's make a game where you kill everything in one punch. Or like, make it from the perspective of Genos, where he always gets your ass kicked in this. It's like, oh no, it's almost game over. Oh look, somebody saved you. Alright, so, by the way, good news everyone! The Wii U gets the Rhapsody music player. And in other news, nobody gives a shit.
I think that was just the perfect response.
Now, I wanted to talk about CD Projekt Red, the guys who made The Witcher and are working on Cyberpunk 2077, because there's a couple interesting stories to come out. First off, for those wondering how big a hit The Witcher was, keep in mind The Witcher was made, I think, on like a $70 million budget, which is actually, compared to quite a few AAA releases, Destiny with its $250 million budget.
Oh, bullshit.
I wonder what they spent that on. We spent it on making the emotes.
You know how hard it was
we had to hire multiple actors to motion cap these emotes. Anyways, yes, Witcher 3 did very well. It shipped over 10 million copies.
That's great. Good for them.
That's quite a lot. And so far, overall, the entire Witcher series has sold 20 million copies. So basically, Witcher 3 made up half of its sales. So, I am happy with that number, because The Witcher is excellent. I want CD Projekt Red to keep doing more things like this. And I look forward to Cyberpunk 2077. But they have teased a new game.
Ooh, what is it?
Well, they have been teasing Cyberpunk 2077, but they are, of course, there is the new release of the expansion pack, The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt. Blood and Wine is the new expansion. That's coming out later this year.
Mm-hmm.
But they're teasing that there might be something else coming out this year, because it says CD Projekt, because there's a slide from one of their briefings was leaked, and it said plans for 2016: release of the second expansion pack for The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt, Blood and Wine, implementation of new promotional and marketing activities supporting continued sales of The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt, and this interesting last point, a new type of video game format previously unexplored by the studio. That'll be interesting.
That would be.
So, yes. Oh, and they also plan to release another AAA RPG title in between the years 2017 and 2021.
That's fine. I still haven't touched Witcher 3 yet.
You should. You should.
I know.
It's amazing.
I know. There's so many games I'm behind.
And for those who have played The Witcher 3, you know that the game is it's massive. It's stupidly huge. It puts everything else to shame in terms of scale, with probably the exception of course, the upcoming No Man's Sky, because it's kind of hard to top 18 quintillion planets.
Yeah, of course.
But at their latest earnings briefing, management discussed Cyberpunk 2077, and they said, and of course they're not holding back their their enthusiasm for it. They said it's going to be much bigger in scale, and I mean much bigger than The Witcher 3. Ooh. Here's the thing. I love cyberpunk stuff. I love like that futuristic neo-dystopia shit that we rarely get in video games anymore. That stuff was super prevalent in the 90s and early 2000s, and you just don't see it anymore. At all.
Yeah, well, because, I mean, think back. Like, back then, The Matrix was a huge inspiration, I'm sure, because it was popular.
You mean Deus Ex was a big inspiration on The Matrix?
Yeah, well, also, I mean, yes, and then also, I know, Ghost in the Shell. But, of course, you know, with the hype of The Matrix movie, I'm sure there was more, you know, developers. It's like, okay, let's kind of go with that style.
Well, okay, I'll buy that.
Okay.
But, yeah, basically the executive went on to say that Cyberpunk 2077 is a huge game that has a magnitude much greater than the Witcher 3 series. Overall, CD Projekt Red has amazingly large ambitions for this game, and that they're staffing around 400 people to make the game.
Wow.
I believe that is about 100 more people than it was for The Witcher.
I'm sure it's going to be great.
And they said the earliest this game might come is 2017 at the earliest. At the very earliest.
That's okay. Mass Effect might come out then.
Yeah. We might even get a new Half-Life game. No.
Yeah.
Gabe, why did you eat the development team? That is my theory, is that Gabe Newell gained his beard from eating the experience of the development team of Half-Life.
Alright.
Anyways, let's talk about Dead Island 2. Because that's been in kind of like development limbo hell for a while.
Yeah, because like Dead Island, and then they have that Riptide one, which I guess isn't 2?
It isn't 2, and now they're making Dead Island 2. Except the studio that made Dead Island is no longer working on it.
Yeah.
And, and originally it was being worked on by Jaeger Development, the guys who made Spec Ops: The Line, and now they're no longer making it, and now instead it's now Sumo Digital, the guys who made Sonic and All-Stars Racing and Little Big Planet 3.
I don't know how I feel about that.
What?
Do I get to customize my zombie apocalypse island?
I don't know. But this is weird. I'm not even sure if this game is going to come out at all, if it's changing. So this is the third studio that's worked on it.
That is shocking. What happened to the original one?
Usually, I believe the original studio was like actually like a Deep Silver internal studio,
I think so.
And then they got like shuffled off to something else.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, keep in mind that Deep Silver is owned by Koch Media, so this is not surprising.
Yeah. Okay.
Though, as I like to call the Koch brothers, the Koch brothers. They're a couple of cocks. Anyway, I mean, like I said, I will be amazed if this game even comes out at all. And to be honest, do we really want another Dead Island? Do we really want another zombie game?
Was it even good?
It was meh. Because it was like such a buggy thing, and the story sucked ass, and the only thing that was actually fun itself was crafting weapons and killing the zombies. But other than that, it sucked.
But can you do that in Dead Rising?
Yes, you can. But Dead Rising is Capcom.
I know.
So do we really want to, stay with that ship?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, was the third one good? I don't know. You didn't play it because it was exclusive.
Yeah, you're the one who owns an Xbox One. So tell us, Tommy, how was it?
I have to play it. I have it.
We'll get back to you on that one, folks, when Tommy actually plays games.
It's so bad. I'm so sorry. It's really sad.
Anyways, let's talk about fan remakes of games, because I enjoy seeing people putting like their love and passion into something that they really cared about, and just remaking it into something that they want to see. So like For example, somebody is actually remaking Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic
Ooh, that's awesome.
in the Unreal Engine.
Oh, it's gonna be beautiful.
And it's so far they've showed off a video of the city of Lower Terrace and an Anchorhead on Tatooine and Upper City Terrace, and it looks very, very good. This is pre-alpha though, and but I said, it looks very, very good. But here's the thing: most remakes that are done, these are done by fans and that love the project, but of course it is usually done without the studio's blessing.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And so usually that means that, of course, they usually get a cease and desist. But according to the guys behind this, Poem Studios, they are allowed to remake the game, but they're not allowed to sell it. So that means when it's done, it will be free.
I'm fine with that. I'm sure they kind of knew that to begin with.
I'm really hoping that BioWare and EA actually honor that instead of some legal asshole who works in BioWare and EA's lawyer division. It's just like, oh, look, another case for us because we're bored as fuck. Let's sue.
I hope not. But I assume this will only be for PC, which kind of sucks.
Or as I like to call it, the Parasite division.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it looks very good. I love Knights of the Old Republic when I was a teenager, so I can't wait to see what this pans out to be. But like I said, sometimes fan remakes don't work out very well. And that happened with somebody who was remaking the original Metal Gear Solid on the Unreal 4 engine.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, because it is no longer in development. The developer said that the project is closing down for reasons beyond our control. AKA, Konami was being assholes and sent us a cease and desist letter.
Mm-hmm.
Because Konami. Hashtag fuck Konami.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know at this point that we just have utter disdain for Konami. If you have hate for Capcom, if you have hate for Activision, you have hate for EA, all of which is justified. Redirect it to Konami, because they are truly the evil of this world.
They truly are.
Because, fuck Silent Hill and new Metal Gear games. Pachinko machines! Hit the lever!
The future's pachinko machines.
So sad. I think my favorite video reacting to all this was Jim Sterling. It's like, oh look, my friend sent me a new trailer for a new Silent Hill game. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure it's exciting. Let's watch. And he's like, oh, this is looking good so far. He's like, oh, hit the lever. And he's just like, he's on his podium crying.
Oh, that is so sad.
It is very sad. But you know what's even sadder for me is that one of my favorite game franchises to come, new IPs to come out within the past 5 years, was Kingdoms of Amalur. And you, Tommy, you know this very well.
I do know this, yes.
I loved Kingdoms of Amalur.
I actually bought it under your recommendations. Haven't touched it, but I bought it.
God damn it, Tommy! At this point, you're more of a collector than a gamer.
Pretty much.
That's a bad habit to have.
But if I start playing again, I'll have a bunch of contents of games I never played. So, yeah.
Well, so this is a very interesting story. So, it's more development over the whole 38 Studios case, and this is a fairly deep topic. So, here's what's happened. For those who know, 4 years ago, 38 Studios, the guys who made Kings of Amalur: Reckoning, and which was founded by former Red Sox pitcher Curt Schilling, they went belly up. Now, today, the Securities and Exchange Commission, so the SEC, announced that today in a news release that it has charged Wells Fargo and the state group formerly known as the Rhode Island Economic Development Corporation for defrauding investors with regards to the controversial $75 million loan that brought 38 Studios from Massachusetts to Rhode Island. The What did I say? $38 million? I'm sorry. I'm at $75 million. It's a lot more money.
Yes.
But the $75 million in bonds was initially approved and given to 38 studios with a promise that the company would relocate to Rhode Island to create jobs in the States. And 38 studios did that, but they failed to create the recommended amount of jobs, and they also failed to pay back the loan, leaving taxpayers on the hook for this. So here's the summation of the SEC's complaint that was filed. Basically, the Rhode Island development, loaned $50 million in bonds to proceeds to 38 studios. Remaining proceeds were used to pay related bond offering expenses and establish a reserve fund and a capitalized interest fund. The loan and in turn bond investors would be repaid from revenues generated by video games that 38 studios plan to develop. The bond offering document produced by Rhode Island and Wells Fargo failed to disclose that to investors that 38 Studio had conveyed it needed at least $75 million in funding. So basically, Rhode Island said, "Oh, we're only going to give him $50 million," but then gave him another $25 million more. Therefore, investors weren't fully informed when deciding to purchase the bonds. And then with 38 Studios unable to obtain additional financing, the video game didn't materialize. And because they were also working on an MMO, and the company defaulted on their loan. So basically, what does all this mean? It means that Curt Schilling's not off the hook, and Rhode Island is not off the hook, the Rhode Island government, and just basically that more and more money is getting lost, and people are suing and suing. It makes me sad that it has all come to this, because it really was a great game. And you know what makes it even sadder? You know who owns the Kingdoms of Amalur IP right now?
Who?
The government of Rhode Island.
Oh.
So we're never going to get another Kingdoms of Amalur game.
Well, if Rhode Island wants to get some money, they should sell the movie rights to Hollywood.
No.
Hey, if Warcraft and Angry Birds prove to be successful, we'll start to see a trend of video game adaptations.
Maybe. I know that, Todd Howard came out recently because, I guess a bunch of Hollywood screenwriters have been approaching. He was like, "Look, I want to make a Fallout movie. Can you read my my script?" And he's just like, "It's shit. Get it out of my face." Because, literally, everybody's I guess people have been bugging him on Twitter. It's just like, "Hey, there's, a new Warcraft movie. There's an Angry Birds movie. There's Assassin's Creed movie. Is there going to be a Fallout 4 movie?" He's like, no, because nobody's put forth anything that I actually liked. And you know what? I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike Ubisoft, who sold out Assassin's Creed, and now we got Michael Fassbender being Altair, I think.
No, he's not.
I'm sorry. What is he?
He's it's all original for the movie. If we play the video games, we get it. This movie is just part of this expansive Assassin's Creed universe. So he plays a completely different assassin. It takes place in Spain. It has nothing to do with the games, but the events of the movie do happen.
I always thought of Assassin's Creed as probably one of the most video gamey themes in terms of a world setting I've ever heard. It's like, oh, we have the excuse that we can jump back and forth between all these different time periods and all these different characters. What all links them all together? Well, it turns out that you're actually using some sort of virtual reality bullshit that hacks into your blood somehow to somehow access your ancestors, all through this bullshit pseudoscience.
But it's cool. So yes,
I actually heard that the Assassin's Creed movie, that the sequel has already been greenlit. I'm sorry, what? The movie's still 6 months out. It's got a sequel.
That's okay. Fantastic Four 2 did that, and obviously that's not happening.
Oh no, I'm reminded of Fox when they renewed the Cleveland show for second and third seasons when the first season hadn't even come out.
Well, they did the second and third season, and then it got canceled.
Yeah. And I'm sure they're regretting doing the second and third season. It's like, shit, we blew on that one. Should we keep trusting this Seth MacFarlane guy? Yeah, let's put a couple more seasons into American Dad. Oh, that's
actually, I prefer American Dad over Family Guy now.
I love American Dad more, but let's face it didn't get the viewers that Family Guy sadly has.
Well, now it's with TBS, and they're doing good. So
yeah. Now, final story. Been a long news desk. Sadly, one of my favorite Microsoft studios of past is closing down. And that is, is supposedly closing down. It's not entirely confirmed, but Lionhead Studios, the guys who made Fable and Black and White, are rumored to be closing down because Fable Legends has been canceled.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate to hear that.
Because here's the thing, I really enjoyed the Fable games. I really enjoyed Fable 1. I loved the shit out of Fable 2. And Fable 3 was alright. I felt like the ending part where you were the king was rushed. Because it's like you build up 3/4 of the game to be king, and then you play the last quarter as king, and it's boring. It's a monotonous task, and it says like, oh, but you need to generate money. It's like, okay, I have a whole year till so and so or Evil Force gets here to build up money. But what they don't tell you is that like, okay, you finished your tasks and you skip forward 100 days. It's like, shit, what? No, I still need to gather money. Why am I skipping forward 100 days?
Jeez, that's stupid.
Did you ever play Fable 3?
I haven't. Well, I only have it because of Games with Gold, but I haven't touched it.
Tommy. We need to come up with a nickname for you.
No.
Yes, we need to come up with a nickname for you. Audience, I need you guys to come up with a nickname for Tommy and his buying video games but not playing ways.
TP Collector?
Alright, so yes, Lionhead might be closing down, but there is some good news. It has been announced that Sony is actually holding a job fair specifically for Lionhead Studios that are looking for work. So these people will likely have a job after all this, but it is fairly sad. And Microsoft has actually closed down another studio, and that was Denmark studio Press Play Studios, the guy who made Kalimba and Max the Curse of Brotherhood.
Yeah, that's sad too.
So yeah, sorry that people are losing jobs. So we're closing that out on a bit of a sad note. But for the middle segment, I do have an interesting topic, and that is, I recently purchased The Division because I actually played the beta, and when you play with friends, it's actually rather fun, and the whole thing with the Dark Zone is rather tense. And I like that. Is the story good? Well, if you're into whole, like, the Tom Clancy stuff and you get, like, a raging boner for that, then yeah. I mean, but it's not specifically my cup of tea. I enjoy it for the PvP aspect. But, which is weird because I'm not usually a PvP guy, I'm more of a PvE guy, player versus environment. But, the way the game was launched for the press, I thought was interesting. There were no review codes sent out for the game, so everybody, including the press, are experiencing the game on the way it was released on Tuesday. And this brings up the question, is this a good idea for studios to do? Because generally, it's usually a good idea to send out press review kits about a couple weeks beforehand so that the press can generate buzz about the game. But I could see why they really couldn't do this because the game is entirely internet-based. Much like Destiny. So, does this mean that in the future, should we prefer to have game releases or like the hype train itself either ramped up or spoiled by the press before the game release, or should everybody get to experience it at the exact same time?
Well, isn't the whole point of reviewers to like review things usually right before the actual game comes out? So, to...
No. I wouldn't say that's inherently true. A reviewer's job is to review a product. It doesn't necessarily guarantee that they have to review it before it comes out. Because we reviewed games before they came out, and we've also reviewed games after they've come out.
Yeah.
And honestly, it doesn't change our opinion on the game, but it affects how the game is publicized.
Yeah.
So, do you think that publishers should do this less?
That's a good question. I mean, I guess it really depends on the game. Like, if they want the hype, then obviously they're gonna send the codes early so the press can, build up that hype if it's good, which they're really confident that it's gonna be a big hit. But I don't know. I'm just thinking in movie terms. Is like, if you don't if a reviewer doesn't get to see a movie, that's usually an indicator that it's going to be a bad film. So when I hear that about the games, I think, oh, it's probably bad. But if the game is solely based on online, where you need like,
that creates a logistics problem.
Yeah.
How do you give it to people early, and yet still have the game functioning?
I don't
Because because keep in mind, like, people didn't really get to review Destiny beforehand outside of like specifically held press events held by Activision, which they do for Call of Duty and other stuff like that all the time.
Yeah, because and then they wait a couple days to do the multiplayer because obviously, I think that's a smart move. If it's solely based on a multiplayer game, then have them reveal the day the game comes out because that's where that's where everyone's playing it. That's the chunk of it to see if it works. If the online's the servers are good and there's not any lag or not lag, but that's you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I guess it can go both ways depending on the game and what its sole like function. If it's just solely multiplayer game, then just we can wait and for the reviews until everyone's playing it because if it's already hyped, people are gonna buy it for regardless. If it's like I guess let's think the next big multiplayer game might be just Titanfall 2. So I know they're working on that.
I was gonna say Overwatch.
Oh yeah, Overwatch. Well, I mean, I'm sure. Oh yeah, it's.
Because that is multiplayer.
That is strictly multiplayer. I feel like there's already gonna be some. I know they're like those probably press people are probably playing the beta. Those game reviewers.
Oh yeah.
So they already have in mind what to expect.
But like I said, that's for them setting out specific events.
Yeah.
And my guess is that Ubisoft, for some reason, they couldn't set it up or they didn't want to. Now, what do you... is it a question, which one is more likely? We could debate on that all day, but we don't have concrete facts, so debating on it is kind of pointless.
Mm-hmm.
So, going off specifically just from the fact that they didn't release it, didn't give it out to the press early, and instead chose it to give it to everybody else. I think they were showing a lot of confidence behind the product. Now, was that confidence justified? Well, so far it seems to have been, because right now it's one of the quickest selling, if not the quickest selling Ubisoft game in history.
Which, good for them.
Yeah, but like I said, and so far the game is getting, because I'm seeing a lot of these places that when something like this does happen, they do a day-by-day review and progress update.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, does that also... I feel like that could also ruin that hype train. Because let's say they did give that a press event or whatever early, and they praised the game about a week beforehand. That just kept the hype train going, and people kept buying it. But let's say that the reviews come out a week later, and they just bash the shit out of the game. What's going to happen? That train's going to come full stop. And then nobody's going to want to keep playing the game, except for those diehard fans. So, in the end, was it a valid business decision?
I guess that was a pretty smart move because it's doing well regardless of the press.
True, and from what I've seen on Steam, which I tend to trust Steam reviewers quite a bit because I don't know. I when it comes to games, I don't go to Metacritic because Metacritic fucking sucks.
Yeah.
I go to Steam because you usually see people get brutally honest about games there.
Yeah.
And so far, it seems that initially people were completely hazing the game, but that seemed to be more based on bug issues. Now that I've gone back and looked at it, after a lot of the bug issues have been worked out, it seems. After playing the game for a couple hours, I haven't run into any bugs, other than a couple texture pop-ins. It seems to be running fine. So it seems to me that this was maybe a good decision.
Yeah, I do think that it's depends on the game. Like, if Ubisoft were to do this with Assassin's Creed, people are like, oh, I think they're worried that it might not be good. because obviously
Good thing that we're not releasing an Assassin's Creed game this year.
I know. When I think people will have that thought process, like, well, they're still hurt about Unity, how bad that launch was.
No, Unity hurt them pretty bad. And they were hoping, okay, well, we got Syndicate that could justify us, but the problem is that's still coming off as pretty close after Unity, and people were still pretty salty about that.
So again, if Ubisoft decides to do this again with Assassin's Creed, people are like, they'll be worried because one, they haven't even announced that there's going to be a multiplayer in this version, but like the fact that, hey, this is a story-based game and you're not letting us review it a couple of weeks because it's going to take the reviewers a couple of weeks to probably, do everything.
Was there multiplayer in Syndicate?
There was not.
There was not?
There was no multiplayer in Syndicate.
That's funny because they promoted the fuck out of the co-op for Unity.
I know.
That they made that like the central focus.
Yeah, no multiplayer.
And you know what? When the co-op worked, it was all right. But Unity as a whole was a piece of shit. And someone's like, "Hey, you want to buy Assassin's Creed Unity for $10?" I'd be like, "No, I'd rather play Ride to Hell Retribution." Because at least I can laugh at how bad it is instead of cringing.
Yeah, so I really do think it depends on the game.
Yeah. Well, I think we've discussed this topic as far as we can. So yes, that is the end of the middle segment, and it's time to move on to my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everybody in the world's favorite segment. It is time for people doing stupid shit. Hit the music, Tommy.
All right. Let's start off with this.
I'm just saying, after doing that beat, my dog is giving me the most perplexed look in the world.
Your dog should be used to it by now. Let's see.
He's not. He's not used to anything.
92 episodes in. No.
I could hold my cell phone in my hand. He thinks somehow I'm gonna beat him with it.
Oh, that's sad.
I don't know. I think when I picked up my dog from the pound, he was beaten, and so he's like forever timid.
That's sad.
So we call him Tobias the Timid.
Okay. So a new research suggests that ADHD kids may just be immature.
Well, I'm going to tell that researcher to fuck off.
I do believe this. I do believe that ADHD kids are like, there's a lot of misdiagnosed. I think honestly they're kids just being kids.
But well, like funny enough, like back in the day, there was two completely different diagnoses. There was ADD, and then there was ADHD. And then for some reason, they're just like, let's just consolidate it into one, even though one dealt with hyperactivity and one did not.
Yes.
One dealt with basically mental lapse.
Exactly. So because of that, it's just a lot of misdiagnoses. It pissed me off because like, no, he's just a kid, being a kid, and that's what it is. But I like the fact that they had to like research this. I didn't. That's like. It's so common sense to me. I get there are actual cases, and yeah, that's why that's good. They're being treated for that. But I mean, there's a lot of kids that are honestly misdiagnosed because they're just kids being kids, and now that's what they're saying. Looking at data of 400,000 children, they found that August-born children were almost twice as likely to have ADHD as those born in previous September. Well, that's an interesting fact.
So future parents, make sure your kids aren't born in August, because August sucks. Because it's still pretty goddamn hot, but it's not quite fall yet, and you just don't know what the fuck to wear.
See, right now I'm just looking at all the statistics of what's going on, I guess. In Britain, ADHD affects up to 7% of or 400,000 British children with this ADHD. But the fact that like in Taiwanese, when they did Taiwanese,
oh man, that's gonna affect their ticket sales for football. I mean, it's kind of hard to pay attention when it's constantly going.
Mm-hmm.
That's a joke, folks. I actually love soccer.
So, all right, yeah, a lot of statistics of of each. Actually, nothing about U.S. Where's? Didn't say where the U.S. is. I'm
Oh,
surprised.
of course they're not going to touch us because the moment they bring up the U.S., that's going to start some shit.
I know, right? Okay, well, focus is the UK there, but I'm sure it's also here in the US.
So basically, the UK is fucked with ADHD kids who aren't actually on who actually aren't ADHD and instead are just super immature, which means that we will not have the kind tea-loving drinking Brits in the future. Instead, it'll be more of the riotous, reckless people. What is the term for that? Oh yes, hooligans. We're gonna have lots of hooligans.
Okay, well, I'm for this because I don't know about you, but here's the headline: Mississippi House passes bill requiring teachers to grade parents. No, you're not for this?
No.
Why?
No, because it is my tax money paying for that goddamn teacher's performance, and I get to judge them. They're the ones teaching my kid. Why should they grade me? I'm the fucking parent and taxpayer.
But the people was like, oh, my little Charlie can't do that. He's so special. I don't know. Stupid.
No, I think it said they should send out a survey. Hey, are your parents doing meth?
Do they look a little skinnier than usual? Do they got that meth teeth?
Your dad pulling teeth out in the bathroom?
I don't know. Lately, I'm just not happy with a lot of parents really think their children are special, and of course to them they are. But
I think every time I think of the word special, I think of Fallout. Strength, perception, endurance, charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck. Your kid is special.
Which is fine. That's fine to think, hey, it is your child. They mean a lot to you. I get that. I understand that. But don't, my little Charlie, he can't do, he doesn't do anything like that. It's like, well, he shoves sand down someone's face or whatever.
He was eating crowns.
Glue. Oh, Charlie doesn't do that. It must be your fault.
Charlie bit my finger.
Charlie doesn't do that.
He did it again. Well, you're just imagining things.
Mm-hmm. He did it right in front of you. Oh, no. That's not my Charlie. You know what I mean, though?
That's not the Charlie I know.
Yeah, that's not the Charlie I know. Well, that's the Charlie we all know, so you gotta fix it. Here, you gotta see.
In the meantime, to stop him from biting my finger, here's a goddamn binky.
Yeah, so I guess I should really more talk about this. But yeah, under the House Bill 4, is also known as the Parents' Involvement and Accountability Act, teachers will be required to grade parents' involvement with their children's education. Let's see.
Yeah, my involvement in their education should be getting them to school and picking them up. And that's it.
Yeah.
I ain't helping them with his math homework. My parents didn't, because they couldn't.
So yeah, there will be a section added to each children's report card on which the parents are graded on their responsiveness to communication with teachers, the student's completion of homework, and the readiness for tests and frequency of absences or tardiness. I can understand the absence and tardiness part.
Oh, that's totally down to the parent.
Yeah.
Hence why I said picking them up and dropping them off. That's my responsibility, and that is it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But other statistics like, oh, you need to help your kid with this Common Core math homework. It's like, fuck that. I don't even understand this shit.
Really, it should honestly, it should be with children's behavior in school as well. I think they should have added that. Because I'm sure, whatever the child is acting in school has some reflection on the home.
I'm sorry, just when did the teachers become the parents?
Well, I don't know. Well, I mean, yeah, they're not supposed to be. They're supposed to be more like, mentors.
Yeah. So, Mississippi, what the fuck? You need to solve the fact that you're one of the poorest states in the U.S., so fix that shit first before you tell me how the fuck to raise my child.
Uh-huh. Okay, well, moving on to the last story, which I don't. This could be stupid, or this could just be like total America. Well, I think it's both, honestly.
Oh, we got America story.
America story. The world's largest McDonald's shuts down to make way for even larger McDonald's.
Yes.
Total America,
Wow.
right?
Yeah, that is America right there. That is the definition of America.
And of course, this takes place in Florida.
Yeah. Florida, America's foreskin.
Yeah.
Was that the little jingle we came up with?
Mhm.
We need to get April to record one.
I know.
Yeah, have that on a
She's got
sound
a
bite.
banjo. I'll get little choir kids to sing it.
Like, I'm not thinking John Oliver.
All right, so the new location will add 7,000 square feet. It's already 12,000 square feet.
What? A 19,000 square foot McDonald's. What the shit? There better be like 5 McDonald's in that McDonald's.
Next door. Okay, so originally this location opened in 1976 and has since been very popular for a tourist attraction, but McDonald's has decided it's time for a renovation. Okay. The old restaurant was famously shaped like a box of French fries, and didn't just have a play place, but also features an arcade. Wow. Animatronic robots, bowling, and more. McDonald's hasn't given the word yet of what attractions the new location will offer.
There's a goddamn Wait a minute. You're telling me they're gonna let people go bowling after eating some fucking greasy ass food, and there's gonna be bowling balls flying everywhere, hitting kids in the head?
Well,
It's gonna be the world's most dangerous McDonald's, too.
but there will be self-serve kiosks allowing customers to order their own food.
See, minimum wage workers, this is what happens when you ask for $15 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
You get replaced by the goddamn touchscreen robots.
Honestly, I'm surprised we haven't seen more of that here in California, honestly.
I'm actually very surprised to hear that.
Yeah.
Because I know in Missouri, it's just like, that shit would never fly.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's...
Especially here in this college town, where literally the average age is 25.
Average age? Oh yeah, for
The average age in my town is 25.
It's a young town.
We're a very young town. Because half the population is under the age of 27.
Alright, makes sense.
Yeah.
But that is all that I have, and I think that's a great note to end on.
I do have this one story that Manny sent us, quick
Go for
blurb,
it.
and I thought it was kind of funny. And you saw this when he sent us to this a couple days ago. The robots that have been sent into Fukushima to clean up the mess that were designed to go into Fukushima and get the melted down fuel reactor rods have died.
Ooh!
That's a problem when you design a robot built specifically to do one exact thing and it can't do that exact job.
Ooh, that's... no.
What the fuck, Japan? You know what they need? They need some American muscle. Let's send them like that mech that we were building for that competition that has like Gatling guns and it's like on a tank platform and shit. That's what they need.
Yeah, let's just shoot it. Shoot the problem
You know
away.
what? Let's just not even worry about retrieving the whole thing. Let's just blow it all to hell. That's the American way. It's like, Japan, we're here to fix your problems. Oh, thank goodness. You're here to fix the reactor? Well, sort of. It blows everything up. Oh, that would be a priceless SNL skit right there.
Yeah, I guess so.
And that is the end of people doing stupid shit, and it's time to move on to shout-outs. Tommy, you're first.
Civil War trailer. That was a pretty damn good trailer.
Oh, so you're giving a shout-out to Spidey.
I like it. Yeah, well, not just Spider-Man, but the whole, like, everything in that trailer. Like, it's just, they showed a lot, but they don't really show a lot. Like, you really don't know.
See, Batman versus Superman. This is what you need to show instead of showing the whole fucking movie.
I know, right? God, I am more excited for Civil War than I am for Batman.
It's like, oh hey, let's show off the final villain. Let's show off Doomsday Zod.
Yeah, I don't like that one bit. I don't like that Zod is Doomsday.
I'm trying to remember, but like, isn't like the actual creation of Doomsday is like some mad scientist was trying to create like it's like an evil being, so he made like a baby, and then he kept like abusing the baby, and then when the baby would die, he would clone it and then keep beating the baby until it turned into like this evil baby or whatever, and it turned into Doomsday or something like that.
Okay, well then maybe I like the whole Zod thing.
Because we can't show that on movies.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Maybe we're good with sticking with Zod.
Oh man. Let's see. My shout out. Ooh, who am I gonna give a shout out to? You know what? I am going to give a shout out to my brother, Justin, who is currently in Miami Beach right now. He's on tour there. Go kick ass, man, and get some names. Get those connections.
Cute.
Go be famous. Go be the next Dylan Francis or whatever.
Who? I don't know who that is.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Famous DJ, guys.
Okay.
I don't know.
Say Skrillex.
I don't know. My brother's too tall to be Skrillex.
Okay.
I mean, he's taller than I am.
Dead Mouse?
He's taller than Dead Mouse.
Okay.
Justin just might be the world's tallest DJ.
Mm-hmm.
No, not really. Yeah, so shout out to my brother Justin, and have fun and kick ass in Miami, dude. Alright, so, other than that's not a gaming shout out. Gaming shout out, fine. Good job, Sony, for giving the Lionhead people some jobs. Boom.
There you go.
Alright. That is the end of Pixels and Bits, episode 92. My name is Corey.
I'm Tommy.
And we'll see you all next week, folks. Bye-bye.
Later.